Hi, hello, how are you all? Welcome to my channel Law Made Simple with me Vidya Reddy. Today, let us learn about another important topic, standing orders. The object of the Standing Orders Act is to make it clear to employees and employers on what terms and conditions the workmen are offering to work and the employer is offering to engage them. Yes, the preamble of the Act makes it clear that the Act shall deal with the conditions of employment of work in industries. It aims to regulate the conditions of discharge, dismissal, holidays, working hours, and wage rates. It is said that Industrial Dispute Act begins where the Standing Orders Act fails. So, Standing Orders Act is the first thing which have come into existence after industry. So when it fails, the Industrial Disputes Act begins to act into action. So the Standing Orders Act requires employers in industrial establishments to define with sufficient precision the conditions of employment under them and to make the said conditions known to the workmen employed by them. So this is standing orders. So what is the application of this act? This act applies to every industrial establishment wherein 100 or more workmen are employed or were employed on any day in the preceding 12 months. The appropriate government must give 2 months prior notice of its intention if it wants to apply the provision of this act to any establishment where less than 100 workers are working. The same in the case of Industrial Dispute Act also. So more than 100 or more workers are working in any even in the preceding year or this year, this act applies, and if the government wants to apply, then it has to give a prior notice to the industry, at least 2 months prior notice. So let us look into the definition. Standing orders have been defined in section 2 clause G of this act. The expression standing orders means rules relating to the matters set out in the schedule. There is one schedule to this act and the matters set out in the schedule are matters covering the conditions of the employment. These conditions must be properly defined as they relate to day-to-day relations of the workers. Standing orders are nothing but rules and regulations regarding to the employment which the employer has to say to the workman. Here, the workman has to know under what conditions I am going to work and all. The employers can draft separate standing orders for their establishment and get them certified by the certifying officer under section 5 of the act. So if any questions arises to the application or interpretation of standing orders under the certification, the same may be written to the labor codes constituted under section 7A of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. So if any employer having any kind of doubt in this, he can apply either to the certifying officer under section 5 or under labor codes under section 7A of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. So what are the matters provided in the standing orders? According to this act, classification of workmen whether permanent, temporary, apprentice, probationers or badlis should be classified. And how is the manner of intimating to the workmen periods, hours of work, holidays, paydays, wage rates, etc. has to be included. And whether it is shift working, attendance and late coming, conditions of procedure in applying for and authority which may grant leaves and holidays, requirement to enter premises by certain gates and liability to search, closing and reopening of sections of the industrial establishment and temporary stoppages of work, and the rights and liabilities of employer and the workmen arising therefrom, and how the termination of employment is done and what is the notice to be given to the employer and workmen, suspension or dismissal for misconduct or any kind of emissions which constitute misconduct, means of redressal for the workmen against unfair treatment or wrongful extractions, detention, retrenchment, anything regarding this should be mentioned in the standing orders. So the appropriate government may add any other matter in this schedule and such matters shall be related to the conditions of the employment. So standing orders are framed because of all these following provisions act are binded to the both employees and employers equally. So these are the matters provided in the standing orders.